If you're stuck in $500 AI workflow hell and can't figure out how to break out, this video's for you. Today, I'm going to show you how to spend 10 minutes creating a polished front end for your workflow to instantly add perceived value and add $1,000 or more to your price tag without changing anything on the back end. If you're ready to stop building $500 workflows here and there and start building a $10,000 a month business as an AI consultant, click the first link down in the description and book a call with me. And if that sounds intriguing, but you're not quite there yet, you can click the second link down below and join my free school community. That's where I drop strategy, builds, and tools every week to help you level up. Now let's dive in. So one of the key differences between a freelancer that makes $500 on projects and a highly paid AI consultant is that freelancers get paid for the work that they do, and consultants get paid for the value and the outcomes that they deliver. And part of that is based on perceived value. So value is not only the outcomes that your system delivers, but how premium and polished that it looks to the client. And the results that you deliver are non-negotiable. The system that you build must generate the outcome that you promised. For example, if you say you're going to build a customer referral system that generates free leads for a business, then you obviously need to deliver that outcome. But a basic build lives on something like a Google form, which looks janky and low end. A polished, professional-looking build has a branded, modern interface, and that helps command higher prices. If your system feels custom, on-brand, and well thought out, even if it's just built from templates, you're able to charge higher prices and make more without working more. Okay, so here's what I built. So for the purposes of this demo, I just kept it very simple. So name, email address, and notes. But you can get really creative with this. Like, for example, if you wanted to build like a quiz or something that a lead would fill out, and then it would collect their information and send them the results, you can create like a really nice looking, polished, professional branded form. And then, for example, if the company was StonePoint and they already own stonepoint.com, you can either connect this page to a subdomain like quiz.stonepoint.com, or you could come up with something like stonepointquiz.com. It's pretty easy. But the way it would work is you just have this form built in Lovable, and I'm going to show you the exact prompts that I used to build this in just a second. And then I've submitted some example details here and click submit. It says data submitted successfully. And then I'm going to come over to N8N. And so we can see that execution just came through. It came via webhook from Lovable. And then I run it through a code in JavaScript to format the data that came through. And then I create a record in Airtable. So if we run over to our Airtable database, we can see that Linda example ended up here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and pin the data to the webhook node so that we can refer to it with ease as we kind of go throughout this process. But to build this yourself, it's super easy. You're just going to come into N8N, create your workflow, and then your trigger is going to be a webhook. Make sure to set it as a post webhook, and then you can name the path anything you want. I'll call mine Lovable Demo. We can leave it to respond immediately for now. So I'll come back to the canvas. And then basically what we want to do is see how the data comes through. So if I go back to my original workflow that I built, if I come in here, I can see that the body came through in one big chunk. And so we want to be able to separate that out because then it will make it easy to map that data across in something like Supabase or Airtable, Google Sheets, whatever it is that you want to store the data or use it to kick off another automation. And so all I did was grab this and copy it. And then I went over to ChatGPT and said, hey, I have a workflow receiving data from Lovable. It's going into my N8N webhook and it's coming through like this, but I need it to be separated out so that I can map each field individually. And then ChatGPT just gave me this really simple code to put into this code node, and you can see the output over here, everything is separated out. And then my last step that I have is just creating that record in Airtable. So nothing super fancy. Like I said, you can connect this to anything you want. You can set it up to send a text message or a Slack message, an email, or you can just store the data somewhere like Airtable, Supabase, etc. So this part is pretty easy. And really all you need is the webhook. That's what's important to kind of kick this whole thing off. And remember, so it's receiving that information from Lovable. And so we need to provide Lovable with that production URL. So I'm going to go ahead and click that to copy it. And now let's head over to Lovable so you can see how to build something like this. So I'm going to go ahead and open the sidebar so you can see the exact prompts that I used. It's nothing crazy. And it can get more complex depending on what it is that you're building for. So for example, this was the prompt that I used. Create a simple modern UI where the user enters their name, email address, and text notes. This is just being used for a demo, so it doesn't need to be anything fancy. Obviously, take that line out when you're building something for a client. Then the user data should be sent in a JSON payload to this webhook. And then that's where you would paste that webhook in. So it went through and created this form. Initially, I didn't have that logo at the top, but I added that after the fact, just so it has that nice branded look. And then I just added that mock logo and I said, let's incorporate this business's logo to the page. Please add it tastefully somewhere. Now, if I were actually going to be creating something for a client, I'd make this smaller and put it up here in the corner, and probably incorporate some of these colors in as well. So let's give that a try. Okay, so I'm just giving it the instruction, make the logo smaller and align it to the top right of the page, incorporate the logo colors into the page itself. Add a tan colored header at the top and make the submit button light tan with a brown outline and text. So again, just to kind of be in line with the logo. Okay, so it just finished. This is what it looks like now. I would probably make a few additional changes to it, but you can kind of get the idea. When it looks branded and it looks like an actual web page, because it is, and not a Google form, then it just looks like more custom, like more time was spent on it. And in reality, it's only going to take about an additional 10 minutes max, depending on the complexity. Now, obviously, this is just a simple web form where you're entering information and then it's feeding the N8N workflow. So this can be used for client-facing things for the business, meaning it's the business's own clients or customers who are interfacing with this page. But this can also be used for the business as well. So if there is like a dashboard where they can view data, you can build something in Lovable fairly easily, and then it will display the data in a really beautiful way, as opposed to something like an Airtable interface. Nothing against Airtable. I love Airtable, but an Airtable interface looks a little bit clunkier and more preschool than a nicely created page on Lovable. And the cool thing is with these that you can start to add these kind of to your portfolio. So you can take screenshots and say, these are the typical types of interfaces that I build for projects like this, just to, kind of set the stage and let them know what the value of what you're building is going to be. But that kind of polish and professionalism is not going to just help them to say yes, but it's also going to help you to command a higher price. And I've actually used Lovable to create a calculator lead magnet for a business and was just able to embed it on their website. And because it was branded, it fit right in seamlessly. And I was able to charge a premium for that project. So these are just some examples of those polished looking front ends that I can share with clients to give them an idea of the type of quality that I deliver when I'm giving them that system that they're asking for. So this particular one is like a lead magnet quiz wherein the user will go through 6 steps, enter their information, and then at the end, they'll be prompted to enter their email address. The email address gets stored in Supabase, and then the business is able to follow up with that lead. This is an example of basically a proof page for a client. So it showcased real world video testimonials and written testimonials, case studies, and just basically demonstrates their expertise and credibility. This is a landing page that offers a free AI and automation audit. So people are able to book a call or they can start their free audit. It takes them through multiple questions about their business, and then they can fill out the questions, receive the results via email. The email gets stored in Supabase, and then the business is able to follow up with those leads. Umbrella OS is for a insurance brokerage client. Basically, she's able to track all of her agents' activities, see what kind of follow-up or tasks that they have to do on any given day, and it just helps to keep the business organized. So this is the heating and cooling savings calculator, and people are able to enter in their information, and then they can get emailed the results of how much they would save. They do get it visually as well, but they're able to receive more detailed cost analysis by submitting their email. And then, of course, the business is able to follow up with them via email. So I hope this video helped you shift from thinking about simply building a workflow to building a polished, branded system that elevates the perceived value of the build and elevates your perceived value as well. And if you're ready to build a $10,000 a month as a high-value AI consultant, book a call with me at the first link down in the description. If you're not there yet, but you want to keep learning, join my free school community, especially if you're a builder or a freelancer that wants to start landing those high-ticket AI clients. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.